All right, can we block the person who's fat shaming? I'll just do it.
For the record, the fatphobic person was me. So today I decided, fuck it, we're gonna be fatphobic. Hey everybody, and welcome the fuck back. I am so sorry for my long absence. My computer done took a shit. But thankfully my lovely wife is allowing me to use her computer to do some of the editing. Which, by the way, she has started a YouTube channel herself. I will link her channel in the description. She's got one video up. She's going to be doing some pop culture stuff and maybe a few other types of videos. But she did a pretty good job on her first one. So please, go ahead, check her out, give her a subscribe. Let's get her on the map as well. Anyway, on the subject of the stupidity that I respond to on this channel, we got Megan Tonjes, who's complaining because she don't like the fact that Debby Ryan is a lot sexier than her. Now I tell you what, this girl's so big that after I downloaded the video, I actually got a ticket at the weigh station because now my truck's overgross. That is a joke, which is part of why I'm responding to this video, because she does not really like those jokes.
What up, my big beautiful babies? It's Megan Tonjes.
Oh my god, it's a whale! Yeah, whale!
You're watching People Keep Talking, a show where I talk about news and trends throughout the week. Hello, hi. If you haven't already, you should probably ring that notification ass bell so you see my face as often as you do.
I see your face too often as it is.
Now today I didn't have to ask any of you BBs what you wanted to hear me talk about because so many of you tweeted at me and DM'd me the link to this Netflix original trailer for something called Insatiable. Oh, yes, another fat suit. So the plotline for this seemingly is girl is fat and made fun of and tortured and bullied.
Prank, baby! Yeah! Filthy prank! Filthy prank! You just got pranked, bro!
She gets hurt, her jaw gets wired shut for the summer. She then shows back up at school after the summer and she has lost weight. So now she is hot. And you know what she really wants? Revenge.
Sorry, what were you saying? I was thinking about Debby Ryan's cleavage in that last shot.
I imagine the people behind this see this as being a dark comedy, a commentary on fat shaming. Maybe it's meant to be a warning, you know, an urban legend of sorts. And you know what, honestly, if thin people want to be afraid of something, you can be afraid of that. I hope that makes you move out of my way a little bit quicker.
I think I'd run out of diesel trying to get out of your way. And I have 100-gallon tanks on both sides of the truck.
I hope that makes you whisper a little bit quieter, knowing that at any second, I could lose weight and ruin your life.
Remember that line. That line is very important.
Sounds like a lot of work. Whatever it is that keeps the thin children awake at night.
My own humor is cringy as fuck and still doesn't make me cringe as much as your attempts at humor do.
Fat Twitter. Yes, there is a fat Twitter. Hi.
Was that high because you're a part of Fat Twitter or because you're big enough that you can be Fat Twitter all on your own?
Let me tell you how I feel about it. I get very uncomfortable when I see actors wearing fat suits. It makes me feel a kind of way. I feel like I'm flashing back to being like little middle school me.
I find a little you hard to believe.
Watching Shallow Hal in the theater and sitting next to all my friends and wanting to laugh at the parts they laughed at, but inside just feeling horrific about myself and feeling like I was a joke.
The fact that you, as a chubby kid, didn't find the chubby jokes in Shallow Hal funny is not the fault of the people that made the frickin' movie. That's not their problem. Humor's subjective. Just because it did make you laugh doesn't mean that it wasn't funny.
I understand that people want to tell a specific story, and in their head they think this part of someone's life is important. It is integral to this storyline. We have to show either the transformation or the trauma that happened to them. But where I think a lot of these projects fall short is this idealized after explanation of what the fat suit does to the story and to the character.
That's kind of the point of movies and TV shows, is to tell a story. Are you saying you want them to skip over the part where the character is fat just to protect your little fifis?
And the entire purpose of fatness within a story is to be this absolute joke.
Yes, sometimes the fat fuck is the butt of the jokes in movies. Because it's funny. We find it funny. Just because you don't, doesn't mean the rest of us don't have to. A lot of chubby comedians have made a great living off of that. Gabriel Iglesias.
The original 5 levels are big, healthy, husky, fluffy, and damn!
Jean Pinette.
What would you like on your salad? Haagen-Dazs. Melt the Haagen-Dazs to look like ranch. Just do it.
John Candy. Ralphie May.
Okay, you know, you can always make fun of fat people. Oh, watch TV, watch a movie. All fat people do on them is eat, shit, and fart. That's all we can do. Eat, shit, and fart. Ha, ha, ha!
Wayne Knight. They have all played hilarious characters that were mostly hilarious because they were chubby. They made a good living off it. They had a sense of humor about it. Why can't you? Trust me, your life would be a hell of a lot easier, and we would have a little more respect for you if you would just laugh about it and quit telling us we're bad people because we laugh about it.
So overall, yeah, I don't feel good when I see that. It's not something that I think, oh wow, I'm an awful person. This just reminded me that I'm fat and I'm disgusting. It more so just reminds me, oh wow, people are still stuck telling 3rd grade jokes and writing 3rd grade pilots.
This looks like the policing of jokes.
Whew, okay. I, as a consumer, am completely turned off when I see a fat suit in a production. And I'm allowed to be, because my experience is being written about and made fun of and shown in often a really cruel and really pedantic way. The second part of this is addressing people who, when they hear me say things like, hey, I don't really like this. Hey, I don't really respond to this in a similar way. Hey, I don't really find this funny. Hey, I think this might be a little damaging.
Just because you don't find it funny doesn't mean the rest of us have to not find it funny. You remind me of that twat in high school that thought you and your buddies were immature because you were making a bunch of fart jokes. And when she would come by and say,
You guys should be more mature.
you and your buddies are sitting there thinking, well, shit, if being mature means I gotta be a stuck-up cunt like you, I don't want to be mature. That's what you sound like.
Jump on their keyboards.
Why can't we just make jokes about things? And everyone's so sensitive. And why do you want to ruin everything?
Yeah, those are very good questions.
Why do you not want to be better or more interesting?
Because when it comes to making people laugh, be it a comedy movie that's coming out or me trying to make a joke just to get a laugh out of my YouTube audience, I don't care about being better in your definition. See, this is exactly what I said. You're that high school twat that's telling me that I'm immature for laughing at a fart joke and showing me that if mature means being like you, I don't want to be mature. So if being like you is better, I don't want to be better. The type of better I want to be is funnier so that I get more of an audience and I can get a laugh out of that audience when they come to watch my videos. That's all I care about.
I'm reminded of something that happened last week on Twitter where I shared this tweet about people making jokes about diabetes.
Diabetes.
And falling into a diabetic coma, and how, awareness of how you might be talking to someone that has diabetes and how that might be damaging.
Okay, whoever the hell sent that, I don't really give a shit either. If you have diabetes and you're offended by those jokes, if you're polite and ask me nicely not to make those jokes around you, I will most likely respect that and not make those jokes around you. But if you turn around and tell me I'm not allowed to make those jokes ever because you have diabetes and you're offended by it, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. Just because you don't find something funny doesn't mean that I have to erase it from my humor.
And I was met with quite a few people who were upset
That we can't just say things anymore. I make fun of my mom's diabetes to her face, and we laugh together about the limbs she lost, and I don't understand why I should feel upset about that.
Yeah, that's a good fucking point.
Let's take a deep breath together. Also acknowledge that just because you're making fun of diabetes and someone has diabetes and they're laughing about it, they might not actually find it that funny.
Shut up! You fucking idiot. Fucking idiot.
If I'm making a diabetes joke and the person that's got diabetes that I'm making it to responds with laughter, I'm going to keep making those jokes because I'm assuming that they find it funny. If it turns out that they don't find it funny, then they need to tell me, not keep laughing about it. I'm not gonna stop making those jokes because their laughter might be fake. That is so fucking stupid.
But again, we'll digress. Both in response to that and to the reaction that Insatiable is about to get on the internet, let me say this. No one is stopping you from saying the things that you want to say. Are you really upset because you can't do your 10-minute diabetes set directly to your grandma's face while she's in the hospital every week?
Actually, no, we're more irritated at the fact that you're trying to tell us that because we might offend somebody that's not even a part of the joke or even gonna hear the joke, that we shouldn't tell the joke.
Or are you upset that there are people who might not find that funny? And there might be consequences, or people treating you differently, or people just removing themselves from around you because they don't like it. They have a sensitivity about it. They have the thing that you're making fun of, or they've lost someone to the thing that you're making fun of, and they aren't at, or may never be at, the place where they're laughing about it.
If you don't find it funny and you're respectful about it, I'll respect the fact that you don't find it funny. But if you're a twat about it and act like I have an obligation to never tell that joke again because you yourself are offended by it, not only am I not going to give a shit about the fact that you're offended by it, I'm probably going to go out of my way to offend you more by it.
Everyone wants to be a comedian, but no one wants to deal with the fact that comedians get booed sometimes.
If you respectfully ask that person to simply not make those jokes around you, and they still do it, that's when I will agree with you that they're being a jackass and they need to stop. It's a respect thing. Don't demand somebody censor themselves, and they will most likely respectfully not tell a joke around you if you have a reason for not wanting to hear that joke.
You want to do whatever it is you want, and then you want to control the reaction of everyone around you.
Oh, coming from the one saying that we shouldn't find fat jokes funny just because you don't particularly like them while simultaneously making them yourself.
And I think when we're in that mindset, we have to ask ourselves, what side of this fight am I on? What am I really fighting for?
Well, I am fighting for the right for comedians to make whatever jokes they want and let the audience decide as a whole whether or not those jokes are funny. Not one or two people that got offended by the joke.
Who am I speaking over? And if diabetes jokes or fat suits in cinema is like the ship you want to go down on it.
No one is stopping you. It's not illegal for you to do any of these things.
So what the hell is the point of this video? What do you want from us?
And while that might not change how you view something, and that might not change how you feel, there might be someone that actually cares about my opinion or doesn't want to disappoint me that I know or don't know, that's gonna rethink the next time they're working on a pilot or they're writing a script or they're acting in something as to what they're gonna say yes to and what they're gonna push back on, who now have the language and the insight and the opportunity.
No, they shouldn't. That is so fucking stupid. That is why movies like Blazing Saddles could never be made today, because they're too worried about offending you frickin' snowflakes. They should worry about whether the plot line is good, whether the story is good, that the characters are written well, that they execute the story properly, and if it's a comedy, make sure that the jokes are good and that the jokes are executed properly. That's what makes a good story, not worrying about whether or not your feelings are hurt. If a majority of the audience finds it funny and finds it to be a good story, we don't care if one of you is upset about it. You don't have to watch it.
If the idea of this show is to be a commentary and to teach people a lesson in some kind of way or to bring empathy to a situation, and it's going to include people that are affected by it, but you don't want to hear those voices, stop lying about what the actual intent is of what you're doing. I see this as a reminder that we need to have more shows like Dialand, that we need to have more shows that represent different stories where people don't necessarily have to get thin to finally have a voice.
We have plenty of shows where the characters were big that didn't have to lose weight in order to make the show good. Like Roseanne, Mike and Molly, and King of Queens. Lots of them. So I don't know what the hell you're complaining about.
There are all these places in between that are really interesting, and I want to see those stories get told. Now, when I say things like this, the first comment that I get is, well,
Why don't you make it? If you want to make a movie, why don't you just make the movie? Just make the TV show.
Again, good freaking question.
and for that I say, you know, I appreciate the energy behind that of like, if you don't see yourself, be the one. But if you're sitting there thinking,
why don't you just make something to represent the people that you're talking about?
what the f do you think I'm doing every day with my 300-pound ass on camera?
Damn!
Talking about my life and being funny and being all the things that I never saw growing up. I don't have to make a movie to represent what I'm talking about. I'm living it.
So, because you're living it, you won't make a movie about it, but other people need to make a movie about living like you. Huh?
You need to stop everything. What are you doing with your life?
I'm gonna give you a little gift.
Keep it, we don't want it.
Take the note or don't.
I'm gonna don't.
And that's even if you're in a position to take the note. You're just some random person online that wants to fight to drain the energy of people.
Look at you, sitting in front of a computer with Cheetos crumbs all over your fucking shirt. You're dirt to me. You're disgusting. You're fucking sick.
Don't waste our time, because the fight that we're having might not be for you.
I don't want to fight. I just want to make YouTube videos that make my audience laugh.
It might be for your mother. It might be for your cousin. It might be for your best friend. Someone who needs that representation.
Oh, trust me, my family gives less of a shit about the crap that you're fighting about than I do. And the only reason I say that is because I'm taking time to make a response video to it. And even then, that's just for the simple fact that I've been not making content for a month and I needed something easy to respond to, so. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, sorry for my long absence, but I'm back. I will be getting out more regular content. I got a couple good videos lined up after this, which should come out within the next week or so. Anyway, if you like my content, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe if you're new here. Remember to tap the bell so that you get notified when I do uploads and when I go live. And until next time, catch y'all later.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!